You smell quartz and sand tempered in the sun. But as you try to penetrate the dispersing mist, you can't see any desert. The world around you is full of pictures. They're floating around like visions in some crystal ball. A hall covered with carpets. A golden Cronus logo on the wall among wine-red banners. A power plant. A city filled with lights. Mercenaries, soldiers, armored vehicles moving through the cool wasteland in the night. The spire of a temple spire, its searchlight shining into the night sky. White corridors of research complexes. The visions fade one after another until only the last remains. The black silhouette of a strange building towering up from the lighter sand. This picture freezes before your eyes, as if giving sense to everything that came before. You hear heels clicking. A dark figure appears out of the mist before you. It's a woman. You've never met her, but you feel as though you've seen her face 1,000 times. You even know the sound of her voice, although you have no idea where you could have heard it. She looks at you with surprise. Then she frowns pensively and steps closer. She stands so close you can see multicolored reflections in her bionic eye. After poking you to confirm your ethereal nature, she waves her hand left to right. Obviously, she's hoping to disperse you like mist. Naturally, she fails. The woman chuckles discontentedly and leaves. The clicking of her heels fades quickly away. A wizened old man, long and lean as a scarecrow, leans over to examine you with the curiosity of a vulture. His long, yellow-white robes fall down in waves and rustle quietly. His stony black eyes resemble those of a blind man, but their gaze is fixed on you.
Such remarkable technology,
He says in a low, well-modulated voice. This voice seems to belong to some other person. He smiles, a warm and kindly expression, wildly at odds with the menace in his eyes.
Name your price, and I'll buy your design. But be reasonable. Take time with your answer. Think it through.
With the smile still fixed on his face, he steps back into the mist, never taking his eyes off you. The fuzzy mist, as if whisked with a mixer, looks like slowly dissolving clouds. A short, chubby little man in a camouflage cap and army shirt steps fussily out of the white. He clasps his hands behind his back and stops a few steps away, scanning you with his gaze. Vivid interest flashes in his eyes. He clears his throat.
I'm out of jokes about death. Or about Mr. Christ. I'm out of jokes about hallucinations. Although hallucinations under the dome aren't any joke, but an everyday reality.
The man circles you. His glance bounces from your face to your uniform to your shoes and back.
But you are something else. So, let's see. A pre-war haircut, old-time uniform, clean and pressed. Shoes aren't worn out, just got them.
He recites with enthusiasm. He frees his plump palm and carefully touches you with one finger.
You are ethereal, but light-tight. You respond to my movements. You are not using an image that's familiar to me. You don't look like anyone I know. And your badge says...
He raises himself on tiptoes and fixes his eyes upon your badge.
The name. Of course. Of course. The name.
He flings his arms about and leaves without even saying goodbye. The mist seems to slam shut behind his back. like a pair of wing doors closing. The fluctuant white slowly settles. A man and a woman stand before you. The woman rolls her eyes discontentedly.
Are you serious? Tuesday, I tell you. Wednesday, I tell you. Thursday. How come I always repeat the same thing? I can't sleep without my pills. You're the man. You're responsible for me. The nightstand. The top drawer. There they are. Oh, my pills. Just say pills before we go to sleep. Is that so difficult, Johan?
She pushes him lightly on the shoulder. The man nods automatically, lost in thought. The woman clasps her hands in front of her chest. She's boiling with frustration.
I can't depend on you, can I? I haven't been able to relax in years because I have to control the situation for both of us. Johan! Hello! My pills! Pills!
Her shouts break through the man's pondering. He comes to his senses and stares at you in surprise. Then he turns to face his companion.
Olivia, don't shout. Make a habit of putting your pills on your pillow. Anyway, this isn't about the pills.
Olivia falters and points her finger at you.
And what is this? Or who is this? Mind telling me, without the never-ending riddles, Johan. Just tell me.
Johan gives you an appraising look.
Is it Maelstrom? Hobbit's trying out a new device? I don't know, darling. Now, be so kind to take these goddamn pills since you remembered. And if you must yell to it quietly, I have a migraine.
The woman flings her arms up fiercely and walks away into the mist. Johan lets her go ahead, then follows. An unfamiliar woman steps out of the mist and looks at you with the wandering eyes of a mad person. She's wearing a tall, crudely made tin crown painted with gold powder enamel. She smiles, although on her, this expression is more like an evil grin. She begins to prowl around you in a circle, wary eyes locked on your face. While circling around you, she steps into the mist and stops in place, a vague, distant silhouette. The mist fades away. You see a short, dark-skinned man with a grim face. He's wearing a brightly colored turban. You take a step towards him, and he strides forward as if to block your way.
The ends justify the means, don't they? Have your scientists nothing better to do, Kimiko?
He asks, looking upward. The stranger raises his hand, forcing you to stop. He looks up again.
We have to be like the Soviet Union and Germany in the late 1930s. Mutual favors, mutual limits, parity. We've always worked on such terms.
As he finishes speaking, his lips stop. The man in the turban keeps standing there, a lean figure looking angrily upward. By the time you exit the cave, the desert is in deep darkness. Blue firefly lights are floating in the thick darkness. The dry, chilly air smells of cooling sand. When you look closer, you notice a tall, white structure nearby. The screen on your Kairos blinks. The system reports an error while trying to update the built-in atlas. When the maps reload, the icons are gone. Only a single marker indicating your location remains. Well, you're still near Nashville, at least judging by the coordinates. You wander through the desert and suddenly fall, fainting for a moment. A quiet hum, like that of a huge bell, fills your head. The space around you is again hidden behind waves of fog. But now it's different. This even white haze conceals everything unnecessary, highlighting the important. In the northeast, a flickering column of blue light can be seen beating straight up through the clouds, like the beam of a huge lighthouse directed into the sky. Without taking your eyes off the beam, you struggle to get up. Each step requires great effort and your head is splitting. These are not the effects of sunstroke, and what you're seeing is no mirage. This is something else. Something is happening inside your head. You search through the pockets of your uniform and find several pills, some to treat high blood pressure and a few painkillers. You put the pills in your mouth, and after a while, you feel better. The headache and hum soon pass. All that remains is a slowly dissipating fog and the blue glow fading away in the distance. You've seen this fading glow before, but from a different angle. The explosion that flashed through the clouds pushed apart by Maelstrom. This strange beam of light is what remains. It must mean something. Maybe there to the northeast is where your path now lies. A girl in blue wing uniform is standing on the gas station's porch, leaning on a handrail, cradling a metal mug of some hot drink. She waves to you.
Hey, can I help you? I haven't seen you here before.
The blue readily offers her hand.
By the way, I'm Audrey Melville, and this is the Picnic Neutral Zone. We don't get involved in politics, we don't participate in conflicts, and we welcome any who respect our rules.
She grins.
His granddaughter. Although sometimes I seem to be a sitter, a nanny, and an accountant. And a builder, and a cook, and just about anything, really.
Audrey gestures broadly around the gas station.
I spend my days here, fixing stuff up, selling CPS, gas, batteries. I also cook for everyone. And you know, we get quite a crowd around here sometimes. Everyone gets everything they need. So what do you need?
Audrey wrinkles her forehead.
Yes, there is something. There's a problem with cockroaches in the nearby swamp. Specifically, that there's too many of them. Can you deal with that? I'll show you the coordinates.
She pulls out her kairos. The blue doesn't respond right away.
It's about the building they adopted. We can set up an outpost there if Maelstrom gets completely out of control. It doesn't threaten the gas station, since the apple tree protects us. But if crowds of madmen start showing up, we won't be able to hold the picnic. Then the fortress in the swamp will be our only hope of salvation.
Audrey puts the mug on the table.
Then go. Picnic will be grateful to you. What do you mean, who? I'm responsible for all of this.
She doesn't immediately understand your question. Audrey proudly crosses her arms.
Or do you mean those freeloaders pretending to be the local authorities? If you do, then first, we're on our own here. And second, nobody really knows us around here much because of the anomaly.
She points somewhere on the other side of the wall.
Well, there's the swamp. Why, what'd you expect? That's about all we got here in the way of sights. But truth be told, the swamp's actually very interesting. I think there's someone living back there or something.
She lowers her voice for some reason. Audrey seems puzzled by this question.
This is the neutral zone. We don't participate in political games, and we don't approve of violence and banditry. If someone asks us for asylum, We'll protect them as long as they're in our territory. We also forbid gambling and prostitution. It's a tax-free zone for all trade operations, and all donations for the zone's general needs are voluntary. There are no other rules.
The girl wraps her hands around the mug again and glances over at you. Melville leaves the mug and takes out a key.
Let me open the workshop and I'll show you what I've got.
Howdy.
Oh, hello there.
Come on, don't be shy. Howdy.
Audrey nods amicably.
I saw my grandpa's new peg leg. He said you were the one who made it. Thank you very much.
She takes the photo from your hands.
Oh, Lord, could it be? Yes, this is it. I thought it was gone for good. Where'd you find it?
Audrey slowly shakes her head in amazement.
I'm much obliged, of course, but you shouldn't have taken such risks. Oh, Gramps. I should tell him I'm not angry. Of course, he's quite a handful, and I might not be a bowl of cherries either, but we shouldn't have been arguing. That's not the way to go. After all, we're
She looks at the photo and smiles.
family.
She sniffles.
Sorry. Thank you very much for finding it.
A smile appears on Audrey's face.
The future of the picnic has just become much more secure. Good job. You deserve a reward.
Melville reaches into her pocket for money. The girl counts out a few bills and hands them to you.
What do you need?
The hum in your head that's accompanied you from the moment you left Nashville and had almost fallen silent since suddenly returns. Barely able to stay on your feet, you look around. The road took you to a strange slum of rusty iron roofs. Above them, you can clearly see a faintly glowing column of blue light, just like in the first vision that visited you shortly after you awoke. Somewhere in these slums is the unknown but apparently important goal of your journey.
Good day to you.
And I was starting to get bored.
Hi there.
Oh, hello there.
The mighty man gives you a desultory glance. He's twirling a glass of whiskey in his hand. His badge reads, Don Spencer.
I'm listening.
He says thickly, around the stub of his cigar. While awaiting your answer, he stretches his large hands until every knuckle cracks. The silver gives you a cursory glance.
I represent the phalanx. Is that all? Entrepreneurs. Soldiers.
Spencer laconically replies, as if every word cost him a comm bond. Don reluctantly takes the cigar out of his mouth.
We're running caravans. Making money. Fighting Nakamura's monopoly on power. The base is in the south. Maelstrom's there now. You won't get through it.
Spencer frowns. He takes another drag on his cigar and falls silent, meaning he'll say nothing more.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's show. In just a few minutes, the main event will begin in this very pit. The big deal, the brouhaha, an old-fashioned showdown. It's novice against novice. One of them is already familiar.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, good day.
Salutations.
Salutations.
Hiya.
A giant man spreads his arms in greeting. Impenetrable black glasses hide at least half his face. The stranger smiles.
Reverend Santiago at your service. Is this about my sermon, The Priceless Gift of the New World? I could check you in.
He embraces you with his strong, warm arms, smiling all the while. The Reverend laughs in a not very sincere or charitable way.
Not talks, my friend. The time of words has passed. Through the teleglasses, we show you a wonderful world you can conquer with the power of your mind. You must see it. What day is good for you?
The Reverend hands you a pair of teleglasses in an opaque white casing.
Wonderful. We'll begin the moment you put these on. To avoid any confusion, I'll tell you these are not those glasses. You will receive those after the sermon as we agreed.
People start gathering around the makeshift stage. Judging by their clothes, some of them came from the city, but most are locals. A handful brought their own glasses, but the majority has none. Apparently, they'll be hearing the sermon for the first time. Santiago is contentedly pacing the length of the stage, wearing his usual grin.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I do ask that you please forgive the delay. Once my assistants arrive with the equipment for any of you who've come without, we shall begin. Ah, here they are.
Lights shimmer behind the sewage gate. Some people with torches appear to drag a large wooden box up on the stage. Someone pries open the lid. Teleglasses are laid in rows in the box. The assistants begin to pass them out to the crowd. You take the glasses off and turn them over in your hands. Super Color Navigator manufactured the base. However, this unit's assembly and parts are both of lower quality. This example was made here, under the dome. Other differences are more noticeable. The main lenses are purple, with additional thinner lenses bearing a luminous projection net hidden beneath. A small radio aerial is mounted on the side of the device. There are silicon-capped speakers on the inside near the user's temples. These teleglasses are also significantly heavier than similar silver wing devices. Santiago claps his hands.
Ah, this will be a wonderful night. Dear guests, please take a couple of steps back from the stage and put on your glasses.
You place the device on your head. Nothing's happened yet. The world around you is unchanged, except for the slightly purple tint. You look around. Everyone is hastily donning their teleglasses. The spotlights around the stage go dark, and the rippling screens turn off one by one. Vague, bright flashes fly past you in the gathering purple dusk, and you hear the sounds of the seashore. Waves are rolling in over a strip of pebbles onto fine, white sand. Looking more closely, you see the water is sparkling light blue, rose, and white. The waves are filled with light, although it doesn't resemble sunlight. Casting your head back, you look up at a peacefully blazing blue disk high in the sky. Someone takes you by the hand. A pretty woman is smiling kindly at you, her face a shimmering white. I am Sister Maria. Come with me. You walk along the shore together. The sea washing up at your feet recalls memories, though it's hard to say whether they represent things that actually happened. Did you go looking for little crabs? Did you build a castle from a handful of wet sand that formed walls and towers by itself? The sunglasses you just picked up from the surf, did you ever really find them on a beach? Maria gives your fingers a playful squeeze. We could stay here forever. It doesn't matter where you were before. Here, you can build and live the life you want. The woman stops to kick up sand with her bare foot. Must there be a catch? The world we're sharing right now is unreal. But what is real nowadays? Apart from a civilization dying in the desert, this place, it's alive and more real than you think. The church gathers people to find solutions together. Stay with us, and you'll see how much we've achieved. But you'll have to come to the second sermon for that. The woman is holding you by the shoulders. The sand on her hands sparkles with minuscule neon lights. Her smile seems to glow with a gentle light. It has already begun. A sermon need not be only about words. Showing is much more important than telling. The soft roll of the waves brings peace. You walk contentedly alongside Maria. The sky overhead reminds you of a blue-rose abyss. Massive glowing streams rise from the gleaming horizon like flames in slow motion. Your companion slows down a bit. We're almost there. You'll see something soon. She takes a step into the ocean, dragging you after her. The water splashes with each step, but doesn't slow you down at all. The dark blue dome above grows ever larger and lighter, as if you were strolling right into the heavens, your feet never leaving the sea. When the opening above your head has vanished completely, you see an enormous arch lost in the boundless sky. A distant land dotted with seas roofs this world. The lights of settlements on this sky continent shimmer through gleaming clouds. Maria turns to you. We'll stop here. That faraway world can be yours. The church is willing to give it to each of us. All we need to do is take a step forward. I will be waiting here for your return. Before you have a chance to respond, the space around you begins to fall apart. Everything decays into a grid of glowing lines which rapidly blink off, one by one. You rip the glasses off your head. Water's sloshing in your boots and the ground around your feet is wet. A novitiate standing by the stage is holding a fire hose. He closes the nozzle and drags it away. Then the lanterns all come on again, illuminating the stage where Santiago's standing, arms thrown up.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Maria and I will be waiting for you at our next sermon.
I,
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make...
Hi there.
A plumpish woman in a white coat is sitting at a table surrounded by screens. Her fingers fly rapidly over the keyboard, the sharp click of the keys like distant gunfire. As you approach, the clicking of the keyboard stops, and the white raises her eyes to study you. She doesn't seem angry or irritated, but her glance is so cold it gives you chills. Without a word, she returns to her work as if you didn't exist. A lean woman is hunched over the console, hair pulled back in a tight knot. As the doors close behind you with a quiet hiss, she turns briskly to face you.
You have an appointment, an examination, am I right? Know this. You must submit to a blood test and show me your Selectron as your ID. Some sly dogs have been coming around twice for an extra 100.
Her voice is firm and loud, and she's spinning a ring of keys on her finger, one that was sticking out of the console a moment ago. The badge on her white coat reads, Henrietta Russo, Project Director. The coat itself is flecked with several stains in different colors. Russo follows your gaze down to her soiled coat.
It's soda. This crap doesn't wash off.
Henrietta makes a forced gurgling sound, either a loud sigh or a sob.
I've long since realized what happened. Still. Oh. It's bad. Very bad. Ricardo was so... very much alive. He never behaved his age. He even looked younger than he actually was. He always joked that we were siblings. Twins separated by the time.
Russo purses her lips. Even now, she doesn't cry. After a brief silence, Henrietta shakes her head.
All right. You know I've always been this way. I can't deal with personal issues in public. Let's get back to work. And I'll pretend everything's all right.
A baffled grimace appears on the woman's flushed face.
Then why are you here? Don't you want your examination, medical assistance, and 100 calm bonds to guzzle away in Beth's bar?
She spreads her arms as if to embrace the entire hall.
This is Emulator, the place they began to build immediately after the incident. As you can see, it's still being built, so I can't show you any miracles yet. Anything else that interests you?
The white chuckles sarcastically.
Let me guess. The thing that flashed was the 100 calm bonds you'll get for undergoing the examination.
She gives you an apologetic pat on the shoulder.
Don't get mad. It's just that I get told about hallucinations by nearly everyone I meet. That's why you have to pass the simplest test right now. I have to be certain you really cross paths with Maelstrom.
The white explains, taking a notebook out of her pocket.
So, first question. Where did you contact Maelstrom?
Russo taps pen on pad impatiently. The white gives you a skeptical look, but makes no comment. Russo writes something down and turns the page.
Second question. Describe your interaction with Maelstrom.
The pen stops in Henrietta's fingers.
Okay. You were navigating the fog and talking to them.
She shuts the notebook.
Let's get down to your examination. Stand here. I'm going to prepare special parameters for the scan. This will take some time.
Russo puts the scanner back on the computer console and studies you, deep in thought.
I could use a smoke after that. And I don't smoke, by the way.
She says. Henrietta walks a full circle around you and stops in front of you again.
What can I say? That was the best 100 we've ever spent. Your vitals are downright incredible. The sensors are off the scale. Even the FOPs don't show these metrics. And unlike them, your brains haven't turned into mush, supposedly. I'm going to say this now. I need you to become part of this project. What do you say to that?
The White is looking at you expectantly. Russo raises an eyebrow.
Yeah? Let's cut to the chase.
Henrietta gestures for you to come over. She stops near the control panel to examine a massive construction hanging from the ceiling of the main hall. She fixes you with her gaze.
Long story short, in 1976, the incident started in Nashville. Maelstrom broke free of the excavation zone, destroyed the spire, and killed a lot of people. And those who weren't killed outright had their brains fried into non-existence. If that was an experiment, I'd call it a total fail.
Russo raises her head to study the green lights high up under the complex's ceiling with acute fascination.
Everybody was in a panic all that year, waiting every day for the end of the world. But Nakamura was able to overcome the disturbances and evacuated the bigger part of the survivors here. She offered autonomy to anyone who wanted it, those from Phalanx and Carmine Heights, and decided that something must be done about Maelstrom in the center of the dome. Thus, the emulator was born.
Henrietta clasps her hands behind her back and walks around the room.
Things went quite well over the next 2 years. Maelstrom showed no activity, and all the trials were right on schedule. But several months ago, our sensors detected that Maelstrom had begun to grow, to become stronger. From my own calculations, I realized we needed the help of all those different people. Someone needs to search for relics for the emulator, and help with the coding. Otherwise, the Nashville megalo anomaly will overtake us. It will be too late.
The White clenches her teeth and shakes her head. It's the first time you've ever seen her this serious.
That's why they're here. Spencer, Abbott and his nutty buddy Santiago, and of course Karma. Our relationship with her has been sour since day one. Kimiko sacrificed a lot for them to be here. And I only lost control over the project. You know I would shove my ambitions and call it a day, if that was of any use to the emulator, but...
She points downwards. From the edge of the balcony, you can see a mishmash of burnt wires and the melted remains of some relic.
Now it's all gone to hell. The price has already been paid, but there were no results. The trials were unsuccessful. That's why I need help. And that's why I believe you're twice as valuable an employee.
Russo sinks into the chair.
Told you! Welcome aboard. I forgot to add that this Titanic is barely staying afloat, and there's another iceberg dead ahead. But we can still sail through, if we really do give it our best.
Henrietta is sitting behind the console, visibly tired. She's taken her shoes off, and you can see bright green socks peeping out from the edge of the console.
I am a bit short of breath from that pretentious speech, but hopefully you can understand we have the same goals now. And it's time for us to discuss the details. Shall we?
She waits for you to agree.
Great. Let's begin.
Henrietta opens her notebook. She runs her eye rapidly over the lines.
Past trials were unsuccessful. That's why it's so important to do everything right, and get the system ready for the new trials and a test run as soon as possible. Let's see what we have on that list.
Biting her lip, Russo checks her notepad.
Let's start with the driver. It's not installed. Karma Ishtwani is responsible for it. Her door is next to mine, by the way. Find out what's going on. Next, our transcriptor got fried during the recent trials. The new one is supposed to arrive via Phalanx caravan, but nothing's come yet. Go poke Don Spencer. He must know something about it. Spencer usually hangs out with his caravan buddies in the market square.
She makes a note in her notebook.
Yes, you should also talk to those nutty church people. Santiago, he usually preaches near the city entrance. Promised me a special version of the teleglasses to connect to the emulator. And what do you suppose he's given me so far? Nothing. I still haven't seen those damn glasses.
The white seems to be losing her temper a little bit at a time. She rubs her forehead tiredly and sets her notebook aside.
Everything isn't going smoothly for us either. Since the tests, the system's power supply hasn't been restored. Talk to technician Clayton Montgomery on Magellan's reactor level. I almost forgot. The emulator needs anomaly essence to work. This essence can be found in various parts of the dome, but we don't have a lot of time. Do you know about the picnic neutral zone? Well, that place in the swamps is full of anomalies. Talk to the people out there. They'll have essence for sure.
Henrietta grows absent, perhaps reviewing what she said in case she's forgotten anything important. Russo looks at you.
So, this is what we're going to do. I'm staying here to prepare the trial program and make sure no one fiddles with the emulator. You handle everything else. Better start with Magellan. I have a feeling they've got some hidden agenda, okay?